Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 64 of the Galactic Window Space Podcast. My name is Nick, and sometimes when I play my Nintendo 64, I am known as the Orbital Alliance.
And I am Tan, also known as Chasing the Milk.
That's right, and we are back for another episode of this Space and Astronomy Podcast. If you're brand new with us, we're glad you're checking us out, because tonight we're going to be talking about thermodynamics in space, which basically is temperatures in space. It's gonna be a hot topic. Am I right, Tan?
I don't get it. That's a big word, man.
Yeah.
Thermodynamics, huh?
Thermodynamics, yeah. We're gonna have to dig real deep into this one. But let me tell you guys, this is gonna be a really eye-opening episode for you all, because temperature affects us all, right? Like there's every single day we deal with heat, cold, all everything in between, but you're going to realize that it affects so much more than what you think after this episode. So strap in, everybody, strap in.
I like it. I'm excited. While I was looking at some I don't know, thermodynamics is kind of a relatively new thing for me, and as I'm exploring things to talk about during the show, I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. And there's also a whole other side of it where it can get really, really technical. But I think this is going to be kind of like a simplified version of just how temperature works in space.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Nick said, I'm pretty excited to do a dive into this one. And we hope you guys enjoy it as well, whether you are watching right here with us or you're listening on the audio-only versions as well.
Yeah, we just want to say hello to everyone who's tuning in with us live here on YouTube. We see you here in the chat.
What up?
What's happening, everybody?
Yeah, let me see. Let me shout out some people real quick. We got Ginger Zinger, Alex in the house, Blue Eyed Becca. Is that James? James Brink? Is that you? I see.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Tanzanite. Well, welcome in, everyone. Tom Heil. I hate thermodynamics.
Well, that makes sense with your past career.
Yeah.
Right. Spending, was it training modules and for NASA? Is that correct?
Yeah, Tom Heil has his hand dipped in quite a bit of stuff involving NASA. Really cool. But also, Tom, I don't blame you, man. I will say I am fortunate enough to kind of look at thermodynamics through a very simple-brained lens. So hopefully this will kind of make it easier to understand, and we will try our best to not overcomplicate things.
That's right. Yeah, I think the best part about this is that Tan, you and I are both simple-brained organisms.
We're not qualified to even have this discussion.
Not at all. And at the same time, the best part that you and I are bringing to this, and so many of you who are listening, that we can all do together, is just having a desire to learn, even if we don't have the answers. We've done some of the legwork ahead of the show, but like that's the best part about this, is that we can all be learning together, and hopefully we walk out of this a multi-brained organism.
Ooh, yeah. Let's do it, man. Let's shoot for the stars.
That's right.
I see Alex in the chat. What's up, man? What is up?
Well, can I say something funny really quick? So I noticed that, and you were calling out Ginger Zinger in the chat, one of our mods. Can I be honest? I don't know why I always read it as Ginger Zinger.
Ginger Zinger?
Yeah, but it totally makes sense that it's Ginger Zinger. I'm just wrong.
Oh, I kind of like the former.
And
Ginger Zinger.
I know. I don't know. That's how my brain read it. So
from this day on, you are now known as Ginger Zinger.
Ginger Zinger.
That's funny.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I don't know. Sometimes my brain works in very strange ways.
Well, tonight should be interesting then.
Yes.
I've got an energy drink here, which is probably not a great choice, but I'm feeling good. And I don't know. What do you say? Why don't we just start with what the heck is like thermodynamics? We can do like a very simple 101 What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Let it rip.
Well, here's my 2 cents on what it is, and if there's anyone that's smarter that's listening or in the chat, feel free to correct me. But in its simplest form, it's basically everything in space. When we're talking about temperatures, right? It just comes down to thermodynamics, which is how heat actually like moves in space. So heat only moves in basically 3 ways. There's conduction, so like heat by touching. You can think of like boiling. I'm sorry, yeah, just touching something hot, like I can't, like why can I think?
A hot pan, like a
Yeah,
handle.
yeah, like a skillet, hot pan.
Mhm.
Convection is what I meant with boiling. So like heat moving through some kind of air or fluid,
Mhm.
and then there's radiation, which is heat traveling as like light and energy. So in space, there's no air, so there's no convection. There's nothing to touch, so there's like almost no conduction, and only radiation is left. So heat moves in 3 ways, but in space, there's only one. Does that kind of sound right?
Yeah, I think so. Makes a lot of sense to me because yeah, if you're not in an oven or on a stove, you're not in space.
Yeah.
Or
So
you are in space. That's the correct way of putting it.
yeah, absolutely. So basically, like space temperature is like how much energy you absorb versus how much you radiate.
Mhm.
And maybe we can talk a little bit about. Tanzanite says wrong. We can talk a little bit about radiation and like what that is.
Mhm. Yeah, radiation. So, obviously, many of us, when you hear radiation, we probably think of like nuclear power plants and Chernobyl. All these like kind of like danger, radiation, and yeah, it inherently is maybe a dangerous um, particle, but understanding it mitigates most of that danger. But let's look into more of a breakdown here. Hang on. So I thought I had some. Come on, man, where'd it go?
Basically, I mean, like
You
in
got it.
short,
You got it handy. Go for it. Yeah.
well, I don't know if you want me to do that, but my take on radiation is like everything radiates heat. Like we all radiate heat. You, like us, your pet, a rock, coffee mug, the ISS, like everything radiates. All right. Hotter things radiate more energy, and even ice radiates heat. It's just very little. So radiation doesn't need air to work. It works in a vacuum, and that's why sunlight reaches Earth. So everything emits a bit of heat. And yeah, it's one of the most interesting ways. It's also the slowest form of um, like heat when it comes to in terms of like conduction and convection. Radiation is last on the list.
There we go. Tan coming in with the clutch
I think,
play.
right?
Yeah. Well, what was curious to me was I guess I kind of knew this, but I could never put it into words. But there's like 2 types of radiation. There's ionizing radiation and non-ionizing radiation.
Oh, I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah. So ionizing radiation is high energy radiation that can dislodge electrons from atoms, which create ions. And this can cause damage to living cells, which is literally what Chernobyl was. When you talk about isotopes, spent nuclear fuel and exposed nuclear fuel, those kinds of ionized uh electrons. Yeah, those are the things that are what you'd probably typically think of. Also, some of those space waves, like gamma rays and all that stuff, that can really get to you. Non-ionizing radiation is a lower energy radiation that can excite atoms, causing them to move faster, but doesn't have enough energy to remove the electrons. So this is like visible light and radio waves and microwaves.
Okay.
So basically,
Yeah.
one's like crazy Hulk level psycho, and the other one's like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Look at me coming in with these highly educational terms.
Yes. Hope you guys are writing this down. We see RJ in the chat too. Welcome in, RJ. Yeah, okay, so thermodynamics, like why is this important? Like there are so many ways to, I guess, look at why should we care about, the temperatures of things in space, and what are some of the ways that we as normal human beings can go out and do this on our own.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, Nick, you had a really cool example about just like what's something that we can do just by what can the average human being do to kind of dip their toe in the water when it comes to learning a little bit about this.
Yeah, so if you want to find a way to very quickly observe temperature in space without a telescope or anything like crazy like that, just walk outside in a clear night and look at the stars. And this can be done in the city or in a rural place, doesn't matter. Like just find a place where you can see a clear sky and look at the stars, and you'll notice they're not all little white points, or yellow sprites like they are in a storybook. They do have different colors. And you can tell, hey, that one's a little bit bluer. That one's like super blue. And I look over here, I'm like, dang, that one's orange. Like you might be like, is that Mars over there? I don't know. Maybe it's just red star. If you can see different colors in stars in the night sky, you're observing varying levels of temperature being emitted from those stars. So
we're not using thermometers.
No, no, not quite. But it's cool. It's observable with your own eyes. And that's a pretty amazing thing that we can do. So we could take a look at stars really quick as one way that thermodynamics is at play in space. And there's a couple other lenses we want to go into, but let's talk about stars.
Okay, let's do it. That's pretty interesting. So yeah, in short, guys, a star's color reveals its temperature.
Yep.
I mean, off the top of my head, I know blue is like the hottest, and then red is the cooler. And I always got that mix because just red seems like it correlates with hot, and blue with cold, but it's the opposite. So
right,
blue is I think around like 20 to 50,000 Fahrenheit, which is pretty insane. Whereas red is less than 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and our sun is kind of like in the middle, right, Nick?
Yeah, it's right in the middle. I know it, like a lot of these temperatures, I mean, we can get them in. So let's talk about units of measure really quick, because that's obviously a super important dynamic when it comes to temperature. So of course we have Celsius and Fahrenheit. Those are kind of our everyday measures, but in space, a lot of times they use Kelvin. So Kelvin is measured kind of as like big temperatures. Maybe if you want to kind of go out the way, kind of like how astronomical units were created to kind of like, usurp miles in space. Like, because it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, it's 93 million miles. Well, no, it's just one astronomical unit. Just a little bit more palatable. So Kelvin's kind of the same way. But what I do know is the sun, our sun, is about 58,000 Kelvin.
58,000 Kelvin.
You're right. Whereas like some of the super hot blue stars are about 10,000 Kelvin. And then some of the cooler, more red stars are in like 3,000 or 4,000 Kelvin. So it kind of gives you a nice little metric. Think about in the 10,000s, from like 3,000 to 10,000. Most stars can be categorized. I'm sure there are exceptions, but yeah. So we're kind of right in the middle, and our star is a little bit more of like it's like a mid-range, mid small size star, yellow in color, not quite red, not quite blue. Right in the middle.
Nice. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool that we can just go outside and then look at the color of stars and immediately know the temperature.
So off the top of my head, though, really quick, just for reference, if you guys are looking for something and you guys have any of those like star apps, whoever you are listening to this, look for the star Sirius, because that's actually going to be out in the winter right now, and that's it's I believe it's the brightest star visible to us, correct, in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah, it's yeah.
And that is a very large, blue,
massive,
very hot star. And then in the other, like the north, yeah. So Arcturus is a red star, much cooler. So look for Sirius or Arcturus, and then have your free star apps on your phone, and you point you to those in the sky. Antares is another orange one, another
good one.
red one. Trying to think
Vega.
Vega's a good blue one.
Yeah.
Um, Betelgeuse in the winter in constellation Orion is a very red, cooler star.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you guys something to search for if you're looking for specific examples of differences in star temperature.
Very nice. Very nice. I got I'm just gonna read a comment from Blue-Eyed Cosmic Voice here. Can you believe that our beautiful sun is actually just an average star? It's it's kind of crazy to think that it is just one thing that is keeping us warm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's our only star,
Yeah, right.
and it's at the just perfect distance where it's like, I don't know. When I was going down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out like and trying to understand like what thermodynamics is, I came to the quick realization of how truly incredible everything is, that we just have this perfect blanket shield over Earth that keeps us nice and warm when we need to be. And it's pretty fascinating that the sun is so far away, 93 million miles, and it's just enough to keep us nice and warm and have life on here.
Right.
So yeah, pretty crazy, Blue-Eyed.
Well, I got curious because I didn't know. It's one thing to see the color of a star like Sirius or Arcturus, but it's another thing to actually measure it, to determine the temperature. So we had to do a little bit of learning ourselves, and this is what we found on that. So if you do some measuring of the star's brightness through different color filters, and then you do a little bit of math, it actually gives you a value, and that can be interpreted into Kelvin, which is how you find that. So basically, you can look through the blue or the visual green, apparently, is what it is. And then you do blue minus B minus V is the equation, and that gives you a very, very quick readout. So like the values here, for example, that I've seen, the blue value and the V value for our sun is 0.3 minus 0.6. I guess that gives you about 5,800 Kelvin, which is our star. So I guess that's in a very, very rudimentary, crude way. And I'm sure someone smart out there is like, oh my gosh, this guy.
What are you talking about, dude?
Right. But that's at least
interesting.
gives us some kind of a perspective here on how they do it. It's like you can actually measure the star's brightness in different colors, and then you kind of like meld it together. So it's interesting how that gets done. Like otherwise, it's like, how do you figure that out if that star is 2,500 light years away? It's like we're never going to be able to reach it in our lifetime. How do we do that from Earth?
Yeah, that's cool. What was the equation again?
Well, what I observed here was give B minus V. So blue value and V it says visual green. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
So, man.
Yeah, so much to cover.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I think this would maybe we can transition to. Okay, so we covered our version of thermodynamics 101.
Yes.
We talked about radiation being one of the only ways that works in space.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about basically just visually observing stars in the sky, and that's a quick way to determine its temperature.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else does thermodynamics involve when it comes to space that you think would be important?
Oh, dude, there's so much. But when I think about temperature being a problem, I think about spacecrafts.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously we've had crewed space flight since the 1960s, and we are constantly and perpetually problem solving how to keep people alive on a vehicle as it launches them into orbit and beyond, really. Excuse me. So it's a math problem that is always being tweaked because our vehicles are changing, the needs are changing, and And the more we learn, the better we get at it, which is nice. But as a vehicle ascends off the launch pad, it's interacting with the air, which creates temperature, right? So you're creating heat, rubbing against those air molecules, and those are still even in low Earth orbit, you're still hitting the atmosphere a little bit. Pardon me, I'm actually a little bit under the weather, so if I'm hacking up a storm, apologies.
It's the radiation.
It is the radiation. It's getting to me. But yeah, so there's all different kinds of things. But also when you want to come back, you kind of get the reverse. You're traveling at orbital speed, orbital velocity. You're at about 17,500 miles per hour. You got to come back into Earth at that speed and reduce your speed, and you basically use the atmosphere to slow you down. That's called reentry, and reentry is a devastatingly dangerous.
It's violent.
Yeah, activity, and that's where a lot of the risk is. Obviously, that's when STS-107 Space Shuttle Columbia, their crew perished upon reentry in 2003. It's a horribly dangerous thing, but that was thermodynamics winning over the human race that day. So there's obviously some tragic stuff there, but we're getting really good at it, and we're learning a lot, which is cool. So there's heat shields on vehicles, for a reason. The space shuttle, if you look under the space shuttle in a picture, it's covered in these black tiles. And those are the individual heat shield tiles. They're all numbered on them. So if you ever go to one of the exhibits, you can actually see those right
That's
up
cool.
close.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, super cool. And the SpaceX Crew Dragon, which is flying right now, on the underside of that, there's, heat shield tiles under there, and those are becoming stronger, more durable, and overall, just safer, which is good. Because if you have a simple crack, it can mean life or death for the crew. But let's see here. I did do some digging here. Let me see if I can find these notes here, because I was curious to know, like, what is the temperature on a heat shield?
Like what it's rated for, like what it can handle.
Yeah. So yeah,
dude, it's gotta be thousands of degrees, because I mean, heat shields basically they survive by absorbing, deflecting, or burning away heat. And when you mention like re-entries, that's got to be like thousands of degrees.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So again, because you're traveling at such a high rate, like it's like the best way to describe it is, if you are driving on the highway and you roll your window down going 70 miles per hour, you stick your hand out,
I love doing that,
what
by the way.
happens in your hand is just thrown back, right? Because that's the air. Imagine doing that same activity with the broadside of a spaceship, but at 17,000 miles per hour instead of 70.
Can you imagine sticking your hand out? Probably just lose it.
I mean, yeah,
it just disintegrates.
Exactly. It would be you'd be eating death. I don't have a good. You just lose your hand. But I mean, it moves so fast that there's plasma forms around rockets. It creates plasma. So, it's not just fire. It's a whole different tier of hot, which is crazy. But I do have the notes here for the record. So let's look at some classic spaceships that we know of, and hear what kind of heat shield temperature they're rated for. So the space shuttle, which ran from 1981 to 2011, 30 years, was rated for about let's see. Let's see. Let's give Celsius. That's probably just the easiest. So about 1,650 degrees Celsius.
Sheesh.
Pretty crazy. The Apollo command module, so that would have been the returning capsule, was rated for 2,760. So more than the space shuttle by about 1,100 more degrees Celsius, because it was coming in faster, because being at lunar velocity, lunar orbital insertion, whatever that is, that's that speed for that is different than coming out of low Earth orbit. And I don't know if it's like 20,000 or more. I can't remember what the actual speed is. Let's see. SpaceX Crew Dragon is a tick under the space shuttle, but I guess it seems like it varies, but 1,600 degrees Celsius. Boeing Starliner, about 1,650. So those are pretty comparable. Let's see. And then, this was interesting. The Parker Solar Probe, which is, currently out by the sun and measuring the sun, because it's got a sun facing shield. So this isn't like for reentry, but rated at a constant 1300 Celsius. So it's
Jeez.
we sent something, right up, being neighborly with the sun, and that thing's got
It's
to
hot.
survive.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn.
so those are all just reference points for us. But again, the importance of understanding how that temperature is transferred and how to get rid of it, is a really big deal for keeping crews alive. But also, like, when you're in space, not just when you're coming back or launching, the space station is dealing with temperature changes all the time, right? So International Space Station, currently in orbit around planet Earth, also the Tiangong Chinese space station, it goes around the Earth about every 90 minutes. So think about that. Every 45 minutes is night or day, and that change in temperature is happening constantly because it's like, oh, well, you're in the Earth's shadow or you're in direct sunlight, and it just toggles constantly 16 times a day, so how do we keep a space station functioning with heat? And it's tough. Keep people alive. You got to keep the equipment running. And after 25 years, it's seen a lot of wear and tear, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's crazy. Yeah. Space engineering is basically one giant like thermodynamics problem. Um, we we have to deal with the extreme like heat from violent reentries, and then there's also like the cold vacuum of space. And I remember reading somewhere that the ISS, like on one side of it, when the side that's facing the sun is extremely hot, and the other side away from the sun, it's a complete, it's like really really cold. And for us to have to figure out how those things work, um, it's paramount. We have to make sure that our instruments work in space. So yeah, thermodynamics is at play. It's such a big important thing, and man, it's interesting that we can we just have satellites up there that are constantly built for that kind of stuff.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, the space station has, like, if you look at a picture of it, you'll see these like kind of white, zigzaggy panels kind of on the back of it coming off of the truss. And those are the radiator panels. So, like, literally, they have a dedicated component for the space station to get rid of heat because it's collecting so much. So,
That's cool.
those are there. You can see them in images. I've imaged them, and they're very visible. Fun fact: I think they're the hardest part to image or to expose. When you're taking a picture directly of the International Space Station, when I've
Oh, I didn't know
done,
that.
yeah, because they're white, and the solar panels kind of have this orangey color to them. They appear actually quite dark. The rest of the modules are silver. They're kind of a chromish aluminum looking color. But these radiator panels are bright white. So if you try to expose for the solar panels, a lot of times you'll find yourself very close to overexposing the radiator panels, which is
That's cool.
it's just a fun fact. But
Yeah, I didn't know that.
mhm. That's the hyper nerd in me pulling it out.
No, it's cool. Yeah, all spacecraft need radiators. It's the only way to I guess to cool down.
Right. Well,
Man.
and not just spacecraft, but what about micro spacecraft like the EMU, which is the extra vehicular mobility unit that the astronauts wear on spacewalks? They basically it's their spacesuit. Because they experience temperature changes when they're on spacewalks as well. And I've got some referential information here for you all. So let's imagine you're on a spacewalk with your crewmate on the International Space Station. You're going to be installing a component out there, and it's daytime, so it gets really hot because all this like heat is heating up your suit. Well, your suit's got several components in it to keep you cool because you're a human being and you've got this environmental suit on. And you're doing your job. You've got like a water cooling unit, you got air movement, and all these like fancy things to keep you cool. But 45 minutes later, it's nighttime, and it gets very, very, very cold. So you need to have like heating components to turn on. So it's constantly balancing the temperature inside this micro environment, which is such a cool thing to consider. So it's not just about keeping a space station functioning or your ship from burning up. It's about keeping the human comfortable, inside while you're performing this arduous physical task, because you're also sweating. You're translating over the space station, grabbing stuff, and you're moving, and you're dragging this huge, massive suit with equipment around, and you're sweating. There's a lot of elements at play. But here, just for some reference, the in direct sunlight, the suit can experience up to 120 degrees Celsius. It's like 120 to 150, 120 to 150. Yeah.
Wow.
And then you want to hear how far it drops? It goes
let's hear it.
In the Earth's shadow. It drops to minus 100 Celsius to minus 130 Celsius.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So obviously you would either fry or freeze if you didn't have that EMU around you to balance in thermodynamics while you're trying to build a space station.
Thermodynamics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool. I'm going to read this comment from Tom here in the chat. This is super interesting. Humans radiate about 100 watts. I didn't know that.
Watts?
Yeah, 100 watts.
Is that a measure of thermodynamics? I didn't know that. I mean, I'm not second guessing it. I'm actually asking because I don't know. How is that? Because it's electricity, right? Tom, you know more than me. Please tell me
what to define like what a watt is. I don't even know. It's measure of electricity.
It's elementary, my dear Watson.
Yeah, but that's interesting that that's what we radiate, about 100 watts. That's pretty shocking.
Oh,
that's all I got. I'll be here all night. Many problems happen when spacesuit fails. Oh, I'd imagine. Not just spacesuit, but everything. Everything's at play here. Tanzanite said here earlier, she asked a question. It was Pizza Hound. Doesn't space equipment also need UV protection? I'm assuming some of it has. I don't know. I would just say yeah. Like there's so many things. Hey, let's look it up.
Sure. Yeah, that's something I think it's worth digging into a little bit. It's a really good question.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just shift gears into that a little bit because, I mean, we do know that, not just human-rated spacecraft like the Crew Dragon or the International Space Station, but just robotic craft need to have protection in order to function, right? So it has to be durable enough to withstand whatever the lifetime or life expectancy of that particular satellite or probe is. So depending on I'm sure whoever creates these things comes up with some level of shielding so that they can last for 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years, whatever they're rated for. But I'm curious to know about UV specifically because I can't speak to that. But that, of course, plays a huge factor in, how we interact with those things, those particular satellites.
Absolutely. Here's the short version. So, great question. So Pizza Hound in the chat asked, "Do space equipment need UV protection?" And yes. Here's why. In space, there's there's no atmosphere to block the sun's UV. The UV in space is way stronger than what reaches Earth. It can damage plastics, rubber coatings, electronics, and camera sensors. So this is why spacecraft use gold foil, reflective coatings, and special insulation. Every astronaut visors have a thin layer of gold to block UV. Very, very freaking cool. Great question.
Yeah, like you can see it. Like they've got like the different visors that they can pull down.
I thought it looked cool, so they just chose gold. I'm like that complements the white and orange or whatever.
They just want to be ballers in space.
Yeah, great question.
Yo, shout out to RJ for dropping a $5 super sticker in the chat. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the $5.
Ooh. This is good. Blue-eyed cosmic voice in the chat dropping. Perfect example. James Webb Space Telescope, also with the gold on it. So it's
oh my god, that's why.
Yes, that's why. So all of you who are watching or listening and you
That's
don't
cool.
know what the James Webb Space Telescope looks like, it's got these hexagonal panels. Excuse me, suffering. And they're all gold. They're gold plated for that reason. So there's this beautiful array of hexagonal panels, mirrors to collect light. But,
Everything is making so much more sense now.
right? This is what
Oh,
it's about, man.
I think I might really enjoy thermodynamics, and I might have to do a deeper dive.
Dude, next
See,
week
maybe the math part of it.
we come back and Tan's got a freaking graduation cap on. He went and got his like
The
PhD,
PhD, yeah.
in physics.
Yeah, great question, Pizza Hound. I'm glad you asked that. Gold is a filter to block everything but infrared. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Man, what are you guys thinking so far in the chat? Let us know. Like, is this interesting, you guys? Like, are you learning something too? Because we're learning something.
Yeah,
Sound us in the chat.
I've always just, up until today, honestly, I've always just thought, when you think of space, you think of this like cold, empty place. And I don't know. I think of space as being cold because it is, but by definition, it's not. There's really no cold in space. It's just the absence of heat. You know what I mean? It's basically just like I don't know, like a freezer. If that kind of makes sense.
Right.
Space isn't cold. It's just not hot. It's just really, really not hot. Or I don't know.
That's like me in high school.
Yeah. What the hell?
Oh my gosh.
Let it all out, man.
Dude, I know, right?
Yeah, it's just the absence of heat.
Right. Which it kind of, again, it breaks that storybook level interpretation understanding. Oh, like everything's either hot or cold. But yeah, it's you actually have to look at it for what it is. What we perceive to be cold is just the lowest amount of heat.
Exactly.
So the human scale is the human point of reference for it. We have to come up with a term for that side of the spectrum, and that's cold.
Yeah. What do you think, Nick? Why should we? I mean, why should we even care about space temps? Why should me, just a normal human being, a simpleton, why should I care about thermodynamics?
Well, I think there's probably a lot of different components here, and we've kind of touched on all of them so far, which is cool. But like, I mean, again, we sort of think about temperature maybe in our everyday life. Is my food hot or cold? Do I need to wear a jacket today? Is it too hot for a coat? I don't know. Like, but it's so much more than that, right? Like, there's the way that we understand temperature, in space, affects the way GPS satellites that we have work with our phones, right? It affects the way we study the climate of our planet, and understand how that works, which thus in turn helps us understand agriculture and the patterns of our own planet, so that we can, take advantage of our ecosystems and our ecology, to better sustain life here on Earth. Like, temperature is rooted in like every single fiber of how we exist, whether we know it or not. And I think most of us are undereducated on it, myself included, and just
Same.
doing a little right, like just digging into it a little bit here gives us a little bit of that understanding, which is so cool. But I hope that you guys, as you listen to this, like, go to your kitchen and turn on your oven and think about how that's, convection, and open up your freezer, and don't think of it as being really cold in your freezer. It's just less hot. Walk outside and look at the different colors of stars and realize, like, oh man, that star is big and bright blue. It must be really hot. Or that star is really orange. It must be a big cold star. I don't know. It's crazy. But if we didn't understand heat all the satellites that run our infrastructure for the modern world would fry. There's smart people out there who come up with that shielding to protect, navigation and so much more. So it's a really cool, pun intended, thing to understand.
Yeah, it affects everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read this comment from Blue Eyed here. I love this so much. Humans should care about thermodynamics in space because it controls heat, energy, and survival. Everything from spacecraft safety to how our bodies function out there. I couldn't agree more. If humans are wanting to survive and hopefully one day make it into space, it's mandatory. There's no like maybe or let's just guess. We have to find a deeper understanding at the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
It is just, yeah, there's just no buts about it. We have to.
Yeah, 100%. It's not a choice. It is a requirement. I agree.
Yeah.
Our dear friend Ron Colson popping in the chat here. What's happening,
Oh,
Ron?
Ron, what's up?
He
What,
brought up a really good point here. He
mhm.
said in the comments, so interstellar space would be cold since there is no solar radiation, question mark. I'm glad you brought that up because I did have a note to talk about that. And I actually learned something while researching for this episode because there's apparently a concept called where is it? Yeah, here. The 3K cosmic microwave background, or CMB.
What?
And I was not familiar with that term, but this might give some perspective for you, Ron. So basically, as we understand the universe as we know it or understand it currently, that there was a Big Bang experience that I guess you can measure to some degree. That was a super hot event, and I guess there have been measurements to show that heat has dissipated and decayed over time, and it's cooled, and that basically can be measured in that interstellar space way, 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 way out there, where there is no star impacting it, but it's a measurable 3 Kelvin. So I guess the pinpoint,
3 Kelvin?
yeah, the 3 is technically rounded up from 2.72, but that equates to about minus 270 Celsius, or in other words, minus 454 degrees Fahrenheit. So very, 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 very
Wow.
cold. And yeah, I guess that's where it is. That's where how it's decayed, is that like basically those deep, deep interstellar space places are just a constant 3 Kelvin.
That's super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yet here we are with our sun. Just perfect temps
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
Yeah,
Livable,
super cozy.
habitable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's good question,
great
Ron.
question.
And, it definitely was something I wanted to note for sure. Yeah, so cool, man. Lots of good stuff coming in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are listening on the audio version, it's definitely one of the best parts about this show is that you guys can interact with us in the live chat on the video version. So if you are listening on the audio, keep doing that, but also come on by. We would love to hang out with you too. So drop your comments in the live chat and we might feature them.
Yeah. This is, I don't know. I'm sure I mentioned this before. This is one of my favorite things about doing these video style podcasts is it's a little bit different than just the audio only. And we understand sometimes it can be difficult for listeners because they're listening to something, or, we're talking about something and we have like a visual display or something like that. Or sometimes it just helps you kind of see what we're talking about. But it's intentional. We love doing the podcast style, but we also like being able to hang out with you guys. So yeah, this is the video part is a pretty big component to our podcast, and we'd love to see you here.
That's right. Goodness. Well, any final points you want to hit about thermodynamics in space? I'm just going through my notes here.
No, I think I'm ready to. I'm just gonna turn on my oven after this episode and just stare at it for about 30 minutes and ponder about life and how lucky I am to be warm in this freezing weather out here in Missouri.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's so cold. Was it? I guess it warmed up a little bit here, but it was chilly this morning.
Mm-hmm. We had a bunch of snow. I think it might be snowing right now.
Yeah, I think it is here as well. I heard the plow go by not too long ago, actually.
Nice.
Dude, can I share something completely unrelated to this?
Please, yeah.
But it's spacey. I
yeah.
just saw this news item today, and I thought it was worth sharing. So yeah, you guys know I love to follow International Space Station news. Surprise. But there was a historic moment. I guess there are, let's see. Here's the post that I saw. It's from the International Space Station official account on social media. It goes, for the first time ever, all spacecraft ports on the space station are full with 8 docked vehicles as 10 crew members conduct cutting-edge science in orbit. The station will shift to a 7-person crew next week as a Soyuz trio returns to Earth. So a little bit of space news there for you, but I'm going to pull up a graphic for you all here. I love when NASA shares these. They do this all the time. So they kind of do these renderings showing where specific craft are docked. Mm-hmm. And so let's go through here. And on the left side, which is the forward part of the station by the American, European, and Japanese segments of the ISS, we've got the Crew Dragon docked on top, which is where humans have come in on. You got the Cargo Dragon on the forward docking port there, which just brought supplies and experiments. The HTV, which is also a cargo craft, docked to the underneath side, and then further towards the middle on the Node 1 American module there, we got the Cygnus, which is also an American commercial cargo craft. And then moving over to the right side of the image, you've got the Soyuz MS-28 and Soyuz MS-27, which are human crafts docked to the underside. And then on the aft portion of the space station in the Russian segment there, you got the Progress 93, and then on top, Progress 92. So the 2 Soyuz and the 2 Progress are Russian craft. So the Progress are supply craft, and the Soyuz are human vehicles. So, I mean, look at that. That's so freaking cool that we've modified this to become essentially a space traffic zone.
That's insane, dude. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much happening there.
Yeah, it's busy. And who'd have thought that all this time later that it's like there's more and more and more happening, and it's because the commercial sector is so alive. We're able to support that. It's not just government. It was kind of quiet there for a while, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but I wonder if artificial intelligence will ever reach its way into the space industry, especially when it comes to like commercial space flight. And who knows, maybe it's already, got its hands dipped into it somehow, but I'm thinking like big picture where, I don't know, like everything is fully autonomous, and at the mercy of AI. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Man,
super interesting.
We live in a crazy world, in a good way. I like to think.
Yeah.
Man.
Becca says she learned one thing. Nice.
Only one?
I'm right behind you. It's a lot to take in.
Really is. Man. I see that Blue Eyed said huge shout out thank you to all our channel members. I thought maybe it's a good time just to give a shout out to those.
Yeah, let's do that.
To support us that way. So I'm going to read off the list of all the account names.
These are the OGs, guys. These are the OGs.
So here we go. We got Sakura, Lilac Child, Tiffy, Karen 1KMG 365, got Zaliro Astro, Daniel, Blue Eyed, Sunshine Nate, Ashley Keaton, Harmony, Space is Fake, which is my buddy Tony. Yeah, he literally changed the name to Space is Fake. A fun fact, I had to tell our mods to not block him in the chat
That's so funny.
because he likes to troll me by saying space is fake. So yeah, that's him. Tamara and Joe Horechny. So shout out to our current members for supporting our podcast. Thank you so much. Love you
Yeah,
guys.
seriously, we appreciate it way more than you guys know. So thank you so much.
And again, Rich Jones in the chat dropping a super sticker tonight too. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yes, we appreciate all of the support. And I know if you guys are interested in supporting, I know it is cheaper on the desktop version too. So just an FYI. What do you say, Nick? You want to wrap it up, and maybe we can even talk about one of our upcoming episodes here that I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah. Let's do it.
The date is December 15th.
That's right. We're going to be doing another deep dive into a pop culture phenomenon that is space related. So we did announce this after our Interstellar episode, which we loved doing. So we're going to be diving into The Martian, featuring
Matt Damon.
featuring Matt Damon, which is one of our favorite movies about space and space exploration. A little bit of a different tone than Interstellar, but be sure you guys watch the movie. We're just basically giving you a reminder. Watch the movie or read the Andy Weir novel before coming to the show, episode 66 in 2 weeks, because that will just help you guys enjoy the show that much more. So you got some time. We didn't want to spring it on you, you know?
Yeah. It's a great movie, and obviously we're going to talk about it, so there will be spoilers. So we just don't want you guys to be, hanging out in the chat and not knowing what's going on. So here's your chance to go watch The Martian. If you haven't, we'll be doing a deep dive on it December 15th. And a huge shout out to Tom for joining us over here, and supporting the Galactic Window. Tom, we appreciate you so much, my friend.
Hot diggity dog.
Nick's just got a sound bite for everything.
I do. I've got so many. But seriously, Tom, thank you very much. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Please, no, not Matt Damon. Are you mad about him because in Interstellar? Because I understand.
Dr. Man.
Yeah, Dr. Man. Wait, hold on. I think Artie Jones, I think you told me you've never seen Interstellar. But I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about that. Nick has a new toy this season.
Yeah, I do.
He does.
Don't mess with me. Don't tempt me to do any crazier things. Yeah, after this, I might go to Taco Bell and. Oh man! Stop me while I'm ahead.
No, keep going.
Oh gosh!
I want to give lastly here before we wrap up. I just want to give a huge shout out to our moderators too. Thank you guys so much for always for all that you do and keeping our chat safe. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, and just enhancing the experience. Becca Wow and Blue Eyed Cosmic Voice in the chat tonight. Also, I was gonna say Ginger Zinger,
yeah.
and Harmony, who's also here regularly for us. So
you guys are awesome.
Yeah, dream team.
Hold on, Interstellar. Okay, Richard Jones has never seen Interstellar.
Okay.
You have to. I highly recommend it. It's a solid movie. I think you can get it on Prime. You can probably find it on Amazon Prime for like $3 or $4. You should watch it tonight. Artie Jones.
Dang, you just up the stakes. You didn't say watch it next week. You said watch it tonight.
Yeah, I'm just so. Honestly, I'm surprised at this point. If there's anyone who's interested in astronomy, I would be really surprised if you haven't seen Interstellar, just because it's arguably probably one of the most iconic, sci-fi films of all time.
Here's what you should do, though. I'm gonna get crazier. You should order the physical media and have it overnighted tomorrow, so it's on your doorstep between 4 and 8 a.m. with Amazon Prime, and then you can watch it on your 4K UHD Blu-ray player that you.
Yeah, I think it's still Cyber Monday, so there's still time.
Dude, I mean, I have physical media for most of my favorite movies, and it
so
comes in
funny.
handy. Yeah, because I mean,
Foxy says, "W Mods, thanks for protecting us."
yes. Just call her Sweet Potato, says Tanzanite in the chat.
I think that's more of just like a side joke.
Yeah.
I'm just trigger happy right now.
Oh, okay. You're just featuring.
Yeah.
Comment. Man, yeah, you're just featuring them all. What's a Blu-ray? Yeah, I know, right? At this point.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do struggle, or a lot. Let's be honest.
It's good. It's good.
And then to end on this though, we do have to feature that comment there from
My blue eyes.
My blue eyes.
Sorry, that's my last one. I promise. All right,
guys, thank you so much for
Yeah.
hanging out tonight. We hope you learned something, whether you were watching us goof off or you're listening to this quote unquote show tonight about temperatures in space. I honestly, I learned a lot just looking into it, and I know this was probably just like 2% of all of thermodynamics, but in short, yeah, I learned a lot. It's just something that's so interesting, and I am definitely going to be doing a little bit deeper dive, just because I do want to have a little bit more of like a deeper understanding of how how it works in space. Dude, let's just end the stream, bro. Are we live still? I think we are. Are we live still?
You serious?
Guys, Nick and I apologize just because I don't know what's going on. For me, I don't know. I think it's the energy drink. Maybe it's the radiation. I don't know.
All I know is that any sort of intelligence went into the vacuum of space by this point in the show.
It wasn't much to begin with.
No, that's true. Oh my gosh. All right,
Let's close shop.
Let's do it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back for episode 65 next Monday night, 9 p.m. Central Time, right here on YouTube. Appreciate you all, and we will see you on the other side.
See you guys.